going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another 4-round mock draft as we continue to work through this exercise of doing a 4-round mock draft for every team in the NFL as we lead up to the 2023 NFL drafts. We are on pick 15, which is the Green Bay Packers. Very interesting team throughout this entire offseason. Obviously, all the Aaron Rodgers stuff. Maybe they're going to acquire a second-round pick that they currently don't have, something like that. The Jets unwilling to part with high draft capital, knowing that might only be a year for Aaron. He was 90% retired, according to Aaron himself on the Pat McAfee show. So this has kind of been a back and forth. We're kind of at a stalemate. Something's got to give at some point, right? But as we sit here today, that's not the case. They still currently hold the same amount of picks that they had going into this thing. So 15, 45, 78, 116. I think that would be the last of in the 4 rounds, right? Yes. Yeah. So those will be the picks that they have in the 4-round mock draft for right now. Again, maybe they acquire 42 or 43 from the Jets. Really hard to envision a world where they get a first. It's like this year. Maybe there's a conditional pick next season if Aaron plays a second year for New York where that would be included. But yeah, now we're just talking way too much about a situation that's been talked about too much. So without further ado, I will share my screen and we will get into this, and let's roll. Do not want to be the big screen. There we go. Let's see if we can get any different. Stroud, Young, 1, 2. Not. Oh, Christian Gonzalez at 3. Interesting in the fact that the Cardinals didn't even move back. Bijan at 7. Bijan Robinson goes 7th overall to the Raiders. The Raiders, 38. Josh Jacobs and Hunter Renfrow. These have gotten so much more interesting since PFN added the ability to trade players. Like, the simulations are just wild now. And look at this, 15 and 149 for 28 and Jonah Williams. All right, so here we are, 15th overall. I actually really like this board for them. You talked me into a ton of different things. Miles Murphy and Lucas Van Ness both very much seem like Packers guys. Tight end, has kind of been a redundant pick when you look at mock drafts across the board for the Packers. You know what we're going to do, though? We're going to make my guy, Jake Shavink, very happy with this one, I think. And I think with me saying that, he knows the direction that we are rolling with. Are you ready? We are going with Jackson Smith-Njigba, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. Wide receiver 1 in this class. And I think he went as wide receiver 1, did he not? Yeah, he went as the first receiver. Jordan Addison at 17 to Pittsburgh right after. Well, okay. Some more movement back here. Wait, was that it from a trade that happened earlier? Or, yeah, Tampa moved up for Tyree Wilson. I totally missed that. So, Detroit moved back. What did they get in this? What the? Mike Evans, part of the deal. Tyree Wilson for 19, Mike Evans in a second. Well, I really like that trade for Detroit. Not so sure about Tampa. What did the Steelers and Jets do there? All right. I'm not doing trades in any of these, but that was very enticing. What did the Steelers move here? DeJuan Jones for 42 and a second next year. All right, and then they use that pick on Darnell Washington, which I would have loved here for the Packers. So we got Jackson. We already got a pass catcher, though. It's actually a bit of a tough spot for them, in my opinion. I don't think this is a necessarily great board for them. But I think that, they probably go somewhere along the trenches here, in my opinion, because we got a pass catcher in the first round. They list, Ade Adebaware as edge. I think he's more of an interior guy. I don't think that you'll see him really line up on the edge. I'm actually gonna go Felix Anudike-Uzomah here, though, out of Kansas State. He was popping off. I just recently watched Julius Brents versus Alabama, and Felix Anudike-Uzomah pretty constantly putting some pressure on Bryce in that game. Um, so even if you're not, he's one of those guys. It's just if you're not watching him, he's going to grab your attention regardless. And I think that this kind of fits the mold of what Green Bay likes to do. Who knows how much longer they're going to have Preston Smith there? They just kind of like to keep bringing in, replenishing that edge, getting guys that can play some right now, be part of a rotation, and then take over down the line. So I really like that pick. If I didn't take JSN in the first round, Cedric Tillman would have definitely been in play in that spot for me. A tight end at some point is, I could have taken one right there, I guess, but I don't know that they're going to go pass catcher. They could, but. And how funny would it be for, the Packers to not take a, playmaker in the first round in the entire Aaron Rodgers era and then take 115th overall right away. But I mean, that's, the best way to spend the resources to help out Jordan Love. So, all right, pick 78 here for the Packers. Just to recap, we've done so far: Jackson Smith-Njigba and Felix Anudike-Uzomah. Got a couple picks left here. I know where I would go. Is this what they would do, though? Let's see who else is here. I'm really interested in Sidney Brown in this spot. The centers that aren't John Michael Schmitz are still there. And then a tight end. Oh, yeah. I got to pull the trigger on the. When do we pick again? Yeah, not till 116. I got to pull the trigger on Laporta. The last of that. Well, I mean, I like Zach Kuntz. So, going down a little bit. There's still some tight ends that I like here, but to me, he's the last one of that first grouping that's there. I think the Packers got to walk out of this draft with one of those guys. The state of that room, I don't know how they feel about it, but from the outside looking in, I don't know how you could be comfortable with that tight end room right now. I think that's why everybody is mocking them, tight end round one, have their pick of the litter be the first team to take one off the board. Dalton Kincaid, Michael Mayer. But that's a good spot for him, I think. So to wait a little bit and still end up with him. Jake, do I just do it? Do I just take Zach Harrison here? I don't know. I don't know that they would do that in that spot just because we already, took Felix Anudike-Uzomah earlier. But like Jake has said so many times, and you look at Zach Harrison and you just see a Packer. Running back could be in play. I wouldn't want them to do it right here. I'd probably be looking secondary at this point. Or, maybe the interior of the offensive line is in play. I don't know that there's not a tackle. I mean, Carter Warren, if he's still on, no, he's not. So there's not a tackle that I'm loving in this spot. Guard, I could get on board with McClendon Curtis, Chandler Zavala. Probably between one of those two if it was going to be guard. I like Oluwatimi, Juice Scruggs. Man, I really don't know what to do here. I'm gonna do what I would do. I don't know that this is a Packers thing. So I have to ask Jake about this later on. I'm gonna take just a really good athlete, Jacorian Bennett. He's one of my guys. I like him a lot out of Maryland. I think because of being at Maryland at the same time as Deontay Banks, he's kind of getting all the buzz. I think Jacorian Bennett's a very good player too. So I think he's kind of getting glossed over within this class, because of his teammate and also just being a part of a really strong draft class at the position. But here we go, 4 rounds: Jackson Smith-Njigba, Felix Anudike-Uzomah, Sam Laporta, and Jacorian Bennett for the Green Bay Packers. Again, I don't know that I expect them to only have 4 selections within a 4-round mock draft, but at the time of doing this, that's the way this is. So let me know how you feel about it. If you aren't already, again, be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave me a like, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single piece of content as we lead up to draft day. Comment down below. Let me know how you feel about this, whether you're a Packers fan of the NFL, fan of the NFL draft, anything. Just let me know how you liked this draft, what you would have done differently in each of the spots. Let's have some discussion about it. But until next time, we got the Washington Commanders on the clock, and we'll be back with that one. So until then, we'll see you. Bye-bye.